Hello and welcome to Talk Truth. My name is Corey Huntsberger. I have my father, Alan Huntsberger, in the studio, and Dad, we're giving away a free booklet called The Living Stone, A Journey of Transformation. It's yours absolutely free. Go to our website, gotalktruth.com, click on resources, fill out the form. We'll send one to you in the mail. Great information in there. Do the research. The reflection questions. I was going to say research questions, but do the research. Back it up. Make sure that what is in that book is truth, because it is truth. But it's important for people to get, right? Right, Dad?
Yeah, it is, because it basically says that you are being built into a spiritual house to be a holy priesthood, offering sacrifices to God through Jesus Christ. And, being built into a holy priesthood is, a lot of words that people don't understand. So what are we talking about? Well, it says that Jesus is a living stone, rejected by men, but chosen and precious to God, you also as living stones. So what he's saying is that the Christian life, or the Christian walk, is to become like Jesus. Like we become like Jesus, we follow him, he's our example, and we apply the same things that he did into our lives as we walk on this earth.
Yeah.
So that the only way that that can happen is through a personal relationship that you have with Jesus.
Yep.
So that you know what he thinks, how he feels, and what he would do in certain situations. And that's what this is all about.
Yeah. Well, we're going to get on with the show. I'm excited about our guest. We've had him before a couple times. He has been on a while, but we got Ben Trudeau on the show. Ben, welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
So are you still working, Ben, as a, what is it called? You're not a consultant, you're
a lobbyist.
A lobbyist. Are you still a lobbyist?
Yeah, we still do. I still do lobbying. I transformed a bit the way I do the lobbying, and I went down back a bit more actively on the ground, per se, instead of just working in the office, where we decided to, just to transform our operations to actually, we're developing new credit unions in the province, and we had a bottleneck to open new branches. So I had a background in construction and just like pushed on that to open new branches. So we're opening 4 new branches this year on behalf of that credit union, Bow Valley Credit Union, and then I've been working on combined heat and power units to render people independent energy-wise in the province. So we went from a higher level of just a policy lobbying to boots on the ground and actually do stuff to change things. So yeah.
So that's supplying power. Is that with LG?
It's with natural gas. So basically, CHP is combined heat and power. It's basically a little genset, natural gas genset, to which you recuperate the hot water that produce hot water. And when you recuperate the heat, these little machines comes down to half of the carbon intensity, to use language that I hate, of solar panels. So it's a way to use our natural gas without being condemned by the narrative of the carbon intensity. It's a great solution here in Alberta.
So that solves the electricity problem as well?
That's right. That creates microgrids that create because you're reselling the surplus power on the grid, and that renders that helps the overall grid. Because you stop consuming, you start producing, and the excess power that you produce is used by your neighbors. So it makes the grid more stable at the end. And if we end up having thousands of them installed in the province, it would solve the grid instability problem that we have.
Cool.
Wow.
I'm interested.
Yeah.
So does that mean that it pays for itself within a matter of a short period of time?
Yes, the thing is that all the programs in the province are built for solar panels that are efficient only at 16%. So solar panel, the price to which the grid buy back your power here in Alberta is made to bring you back your money, your ROI with solar panels in 15 to 20 years. But when you have an engine that runs all of the time and that is sized to produce all of your energy needs, both heat and power, you ended up selling all of the time on the grid at the price that they would buy solar energy because you're greener than solar. And that makes the payback of your machine anywhere between 18 months and 3 years.
Wow.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
My mind's blown right now. I don't even understand what's happening because I definitely don't want to wait 20 years to get my money back. I'll be dead by then. But like, hey, 3 years sounds better.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's 3 years. And after 3 years, you're cashing in. You don't pay any more gas, don't pay any more power. And for a single family house, you will cash in $1,500 a month for your utilities. And yeah, roughly. And for commerce, a restaurant, something like that, or a small shop, no, you can sometimes cannot go up to 20,000 a month revenues instead of paying your utilities.
So can you set
We,
this up in the city, or does this have to be country living?
It can be set up anywhere because these machines are super quiet. They're quieter than your AC beside your house. And they're just expensive to install. So the biggest threshold to go, it's to go, no, like for a single family house, the investment is about $100,000. And then for business, it's $250,000, $200,000. So it's not small money. But when you see what it brings back, it's worth it. And we've been working, of course, with Bow Valley Credit Union to develop a special program to finance them as well. So we're putting all the pieces of the puzzle together to make them work.
this isn't really why we even had you on, Ben, but I am so we got to like do a separate show. I want to see this thing in action because you should be winning the Nobel Peace Prize now because you've solved the energy crisis, which is really cool. I mean, I'm excited to hear more about it for sure. Hey, Alan, I didn't even know that this was happening. Did you?
No, I knew that you had something to do with regenerating
Yes.
electricity with LG natural gas, but I didn't know that it was,
Yeah.
kind of on a personal consumer base.
Yes, and the good thing is that since our now Prime Minister elected Mark Carney has brought the carbon tax to zero, it brought your gas bill cut in half. So what you used to spend to run these little machine that runs all of the time that consume a lot of natural gas, your gas bill just been cut in half because you don't have to pay the carbon tax anymore, which then bring your ROI even shorter. So,
Okay. Ben, we wanted to get your opinion about the election because you've got one foot on the English side of Canada and you got a foot inside the Quebec, the French side of Canada. And we wanted to have you on to kind of bring that perspective in because fascinating. I think I'm just going to go ahead and let you roll. I know that you did do a trip to Quebec. You just recently got back. You got to see what was going on with the signage and all that. Can you just share us a little bit of your thoughts because you do kind of have an understanding of both places?
Yeah, it was planned before the campaign was launched for me to go back to Quebec with an RV. My mom spent time here in Sylvan Lake with us, and she's building a house in Quebec. So I brought her back with her car and a trailer and an RV with my wife and my kids that are homeschooled, and we went back to the States, but went back through all of Ontario, and then to Quebec. And I stayed a week in Quebec. I was preaching at a church for Sunday morning for Easter Sunday, and then I spent the week there. And it's funny because on Wednesday, in fact, in the town I was in Granby, Quebec, I was driving with my mom, and I saw Carney's bus. He was there, and I was not quick enough to stop and have a picture with him to send to all my friends. But all that to say that when you look at the position of Quebec just in terms of signage, liberals were everywhere, and everywhere and in Quebec you have to understand that the signage is very particular, and it's the only province that put the face of all candidates on their signs. So it's not only the name of the candidate, you see the face of the candidates. And I was surprised of the caliber of candidates they were able to gather in Quebec. Just in the area I come from, in Bromont, it was the ex-mayor of the town of Bromont that just like took a leave of absence, and he was elected yesterday. But very, very high figure, very respected people, and faces that people knows.
Hmm.
So signage in Quebec is super important in a campaign. You win a campaign on how fast you can put your signage out and how many you can put out. And in urban area like in Montreal, yesterday was I was driving even to the airport. I went to have a lunch with friends of mine, and I was driving in Montreal, and you could see the liberal signs everywhere, and the conservatives, all the conservative signs were vandalized. So that gives you an impression. No, like what Trump did has been absolutely it's a determinant of the campaign. So that campaign has been won by Carney because of Donald Trump, obviously.
Wow. Alan, what do you think about that?
What did Trump do that got the people so upset?
Well, Trump is a figure that is highly hated in Quebec,
Hmm.
so much that you can't even pronounce his name without creating a reaction, and that's with 90% of the people, including Christian, by the way. He's a very very hated figure, and the thing in Quebec is that all the medias are in French, so the message is controlled by a very small group. The narrative is ran by three TV channels. People don't realize that even in 2025, I think I look at the stats recently, and there's still 78% of the population of Quebec that don't speak a word of English. So they are stuck at listening everything in French produced by Quebecers. So they are stuck within the narrative. And when the narrative tells you that Trump is worse than Hitler, you start believing it after 5 years. And then what that guy, and then of course they took like the interview. No, they choose very much what they show. And the
Right.
interview that he did on Fox, that he said they would rather have Carney as a prime minister. This one was translated in French and showed on all medias and all that. So people don't like Trump, and then he tells them that he'd rather have Carney. Well, we'll give you Carney. So
Hmm.
Okay. So I just want to ask this. Now that the elections happen, Alberta's going to be talking a lot about separation and all this kind of stuff. Will Quebec be talking that way, or they're not going to talk that way because they're happy, or are they unhappy? I'm confused.
Quebec, I believe, is very happy with the result of that election. Quebec is willing to play with Trump. Quebec is, I mean, they're reelected with one of the highest majority, the one that locked them down from 8 to 5, every day during COVID. So the Quebec population is very malleable on that and very very agreeable on totalitarianism and move that would never be accepted down west. So they have zero problem with Carney to start with. Secondly, they had Quebec loves when they have a ton of ministers elected, no, and that come from Quebec, and they supplied a very very high quality. By the way, truly, no, a very high quality of candidates that won. So Carney will have a lot of choice to build his cabinet with a lot of Quebec people that brings a lot of support to his government. And then we look at the end result when you add all the MPs that has been confirmed for the Liberals with the 7 MP from the NDP, you achieve that magic number of 172. So Carney can just keep on making the deal with the NDP, doesn't need the Bloc or anybody else, and keep majority. So I believe it's no, it's a no-brainer. And Quebec is not at all where Alberta is. As for Alberta independence, um, I personally, I believe that it's sad, but I don't believe in it. I don't believe that we can win a referendum in this province. Coming from my experience, having done the 1995 campaign in Quebec, In Quebec in 95, you were dealing with a population that are not paid very high, that have a low standard of life, overly speaking. That in French people has been that has been like persecuted by the English for over 200 years, to say the least. And despite that, they didn't vote yes. So when I look in Alberta, that you have a bunch of rich people, that go to Starbucks, have their RV, and do a good living after all, despite the 14 million we send per year to Quebec, or the 70 million to Alberta. And none of them call them Albertans first. All Albertans that I know call themselves Canadians first. No, in Quebec, they don't even call themselves Canadian. They call themselves Quebecers. No, so and despite that, the referendum didn't fly. So I cannot see how a referendum could raise enough support in this province to be won. There's other stuff, and I have a plan that I could expose to you maybe later on as I get traction. But I believe there's a way more efficient plan to get Alberta in a very, very good situation, staying in the confederation right now if we do the right moves. And we don't need a referendum to do that. We just need to grow up and stop drinking the milk of the feds, no, and be big boys and take what our constitution tells that we can do, no. So anyway, so that's my take on it. And if if Alberta just do what Quebec does, the same way that Quebec does, they already been fought at Supreme Court and all that, it will destroy Canada. In the Jenga block, if you remove the Alberta block with everything that Alberta can do constitutionally without changing anything, just by legislation at the ledge with a majority government that we have, no referendum, nothing, Canada will collapse. So that's all I have to say on that. I think we'll be way more efficient.
Well, I enjoy talking to you. I'd love to. I can't wait till we get feedback from our viewers, about this show. But I enjoy talking to you because, one of the difficult things I find as a Canadian is it feels like Quebec is so siloed. I don't understand my brothers and sisters in Quebec. I don't know anything about them. They probably don't, and I want to. I really do. But I just feel there's so many boundaries. There's just so much barrier, and that's why I love talking to you, because I just feel at least I can get a little taste of kind of what's happening to our other Canadian brothers and sisters that are in Quebec. There just seems to be this silo divide kind of thing, and I don't want it. I'm all for them protecting their culture. I think we should. Value, that they speak French and that they are the way they are. I do, but yet I just don't feel like anyone's bridging any gaps. It's like them and everybody else, kind of a deal. Like Canada does this. It silos people, it silos groups, religions, all this, and puts you into certain districts. And I don't like that. We're all Canadian brothers and sisters. We're all wanting freedom and a good lifestyle and peace and joy and, be proud of our country. That's why I love talking to you, Ben, and I value the things that you have to say, because even with the electricity thing at the beginning of the show, my mind's blown, and I love it because I don't get to have that interaction with the Quebec people that I want, and I really need, because I want to understand and I really want to know what's going on in their mind, but it just seems we're divided, or not even divided, like siloed, right?
Yeah. Well, but again, it's a decision as well. What type of Canada do we want? Do we want a Canada where Alberta keep on taking advantage and Quebec is just happy to do it just because it's offered to them? Or we want equality in our country? And if we want equality in our country, we need to start doing stuff the same way, and stop. Like Alberta. Alberta can collect its own tax. Alberta can. In the law, we can decide to perceive our royalties in oil instead of money. Just if we do that, we just deprive the central bank of 25 billion a year. So if we just starting to do very, very simple steps to stop sending money to Ottawa, we will starve them. They won't be able to function. And then Quebec on its side will be very happy as well, because then that will force all the provinces to go sit back and do a true negotiation, because the country won't function. I mean, Canada stops working if Alberta start doing what Quebec does. You know that Quebec has 53 international offices around the world, which is the Quebec houses. They don't even use the Canadian embassy. And this is constitutional. Why don't Alberta, we don't have an Alberta office in Texas to deal for our oil, in Washington to deal for, and this is constitutional as well. We can't take care of all of the economical agreement. We don't need a law to do that. So everything's like that. No, but we need to get rid of the RCMP. We need to take care of our pension plan. You know what? We've been funding the Canada pension plan. No, 75% of the population of Canada has gathered basically pension plan is worth 600 billion right now. Since 1965, with 75% of the population, the Quebec pension plan is worth 500 billion with 25% of the population for the same period of time. So which one has been the best managed?
Wow.
Quebec.
I love it. When you start talking fast, I think you're speaking in French a little bit, man. I think the French comes out. I love it.
I have to be careful. I came back from Quebec yesterday as well. The accent must be strong.
So Ben, how do we, learn from each other? Because do you know what I'm talking about, being siloed? I mean, I feel like we can't connect and we can't learn from each other, because I do think there are some things we can learn that they're doing that are right, that could probably help Alberta, right?
Absolutely. I believe that what Alberta should do is create a commission or delegation that will go sit with Quebecers and look at all of their ministry, the way they do stuff, what has been challenged by the feds, the solution they brought. I mean, even the hydroelectricity is not part of the equalization payment. And the way they've done that, they removed Hydro-Quebec from the Quebec government by creating a private corporation. So Hydro-Quebec in Quebec is a private corporation which has only one shoulder, which is the government in Quebec. And that removed all revenues from Hydro-Quebec from the equalization payment. Well, why don't we do the same here with our oil? So
I don't know. That's
again,
a good
Quebec
question. Do you know the answer to that?
Yeah. Do you know the answer?
I believe the answer is because, culturally speaking, Albertan politicians always saw the federal as higher. There's so many Alberta politicians that dreams of going on the federal stage one day, and it's basically it's the English empire. Is the way they operate in every of their commonwealth. No, they create division to keep power, and then they create servant and subservient, and Alberta is just like the result of 100 years of planning to keep us as just a resource province. So that's why.
Fascinating stuff. Alan, we need to continue to bridge the gap. I would love to go to Quebec and like hang out and learn and understand, because I think they've done an interesting job of, especially in the political, they're smart. They're very, very smart. And there's a lot of stuff that's available in Quebec. So I really appreciate your understanding and kind of you bridging that gap a little bit. And definitely we're going to have you back, Ben. Well, I want to talk about this energy thing. I'm interested in this energy thing, because that sounds like something too good to be true, but I know that you're doing it. And so I'm excited to have that. Thank you so much for being here. We'll definitely have you back.
Thank you.
Well, like I said, it's interesting talking to someone like Ben, who understands the Quebec side of things. He's from there. He understands the West, you know what I mean, in Alberta kind of side of things. I don't even know, Alan, if our show gets broadcast into Quebec. You know, does Quebec get Daystar? I don't know about the Christian, media side of things. I'm not certain. Are you?
No, we'll have to check that out.
We do.
There's not much evangelical Christianity in Quebec.
Yeah, very low.
Yeah,
it's a mission field.
It is, and there is some good work. I know some pastors in Quebec that are doing good work and are great pastors. And there's a lot of people in Quebec that do love the Lord, but in comparison to other provinces or whatever, Quebec is pretty dark, and it definitely needs some of its people, I'm talking about the French people, to get involved in broadcasting to help the French people understand what the Lord has done.
Yeah. Well, I want to encourage any of our viewers, if you are from Quebec, reach out to us. I want to know more. Like I said, Alan, and I'm not kidding, I feel siloed from our brothers and sisters in Quebec. Don't you sometimes?
Yeah.
It's like it was designed that way.
Right. And I've been to Quebec, a couple times, and like I said, in Montreal there are some great churches there that preach the gospel, and they're doing quite well.
Fascinating. Let's do our verse. We didn't get to do it at the beginning of the show. The earth and everything in it, the world and its inhabitants belong to the Lord. For he laid its foundation on the seas and established it on the rivers. Psalm 24, 1 and 2. Why is that verse important, Dad?
Well, it's important because, the earth and everything in it, including Quebec, belongs to the Lord, you know, and it's important. And, God loves the Quebec people just as much as he loves you and me. So that's an important aspect. And the more that we can help people understand that, the better it'll be.
Yeah, we're giving away a free booklet as well. It's called The Living Stone, A Journey of Transformation. It's yours absolutely free. All you got to do is go to our website, gotalktruth.com, click on resources, fill out the form. We'll send one to you in the mail. And it is a great book to strengthen your relationship with Christ and do the reflection questions. It's really going to make you think. We need more people to have a strong, firm foundation in Christ where you hear his voice, you understand what he's saying. You may not know what he's doing, but you're a willing participant to say, hey, Lord, use me however you see fit, and he will. Trust me, he will. You want to help support our mission? You can. You can go to our website, gotalktruth.com, and click on donate. There are many different ways you can give digitally. We are not sponsored by the Canadian government or any special interest groups. We are only able to come and broadcast this truth every single day because of the generosity of our viewers, people like you. If you'd like to give through mail, which many people do, you can make the check payable to Heritage Christian Ministries Association and send it to 246 Stewart Green, Southwest, Suite 3260, Calgary, Alberta, T3H 3C8. And all your gifts are tax deductible. If you'd like a prayer, you can have it. Call our toll-free number, 1-800-915-0056. In Canada, if you're in the U.S., you can call 1-800-445-3450. All right, Dad, we're out of time. We'll see you guys later.
Love you.